Okay, we have this session and the next week before Shavuot. We have just twice. So let's try to get in whatever we can, pack in these two times our preparation for Shavuot. The Baal Shem Tov, I'm sure, would be very masculine with it. Just as a word of introduction, we have to realize that Shavuot is just not just one of the Shalosh Regalim. Shavuot is an extremely, extremely important day. It's actually the climax of the year, the climax of the Doraisa year. What I mean by that is the following. The year starts off with the Yom Tov of Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is Yom Hadin, correct? Yom Kippur is a continuation, still Yom Hadin. Are we finished with Yom Hadin? No, we're not finished with Yom Hadin. We have our Sukkot also. Hoshana Rabbah is another in continuation of Hadin. With all the way from Rosh Hashanah through Shmini Atzeres, it's all Yemei Din. The Simcha, which is included inside the Din on Sukkot, also Simcha, but it's still within Yemei Din. All right. So that's important to remember. Now, how did the world start off? The world started off with Din. Bereshis bara Elohim eis hashamayim eis haaretz. The world started off with Din. So Rosh Hashanah is a revival of the way the world started off. A new year starts off with Din. Hashem understood beforehand that the world cannot exist only by Midas Hadin. Because if you have only Midas Hadin, the smallest mistake that you make, you have to, as we say, hand in the towel. You have now been retired. There's no room for flexibility. Either you do it right or you do it wrong. That's the way Midas Hadin works. So Hashem introduced the Midah of Rachamim, or Chesed, to sort of sweeten the Din, and they should work together. Therefore, what's the next Yom Tov after Sukkot? Pesach. Pesach is the Midah of Chesed. That's Avraham. It's Chesed. The Midah of Din, which was beforehand, was Yitzchak. Yitzchak is Midas Hadin. He was able to overcome all of the difficulties and sacrifice his life on a Kedas Yitzchak for Hashem. It's Midas Hadin. Yitzchak never left Eretz Yisrael. Never left Eretz Yisrael. Then this is the for me. I don't move. That was Yitzchak Avinu. So we have Yitzchak, which started off the Midah of Din. Then we come to Pesach, which is Chesed. Which is Avraham is Chesed. And now after Pesach, what's next? Shavuot. All the Shalosh Regalim, we just went through it. What's Shavuot? Shavuot is the climax of the two together. We have from Sukkot, we have Midas Hadin, we have Pesach, the Midah of Chesed, and then you come to the third one, which is a combination of the two. That's Yaakov, Tiferes. So you have Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes. That's the way the world works. That's the pattern of the world. And what does Hashem want? What is his goal? What is he? In last week's reading, this with his Pasha, it says, "V'chazacharti es brisi Yaakov, es brisi Yitzchak, es brisi Avraham." He mentioned Yaakov first. Why did Hashem say, "I'm making a bris with Yaakov"? He's only the third one in line. The first one was Chesed, was Avraham, then Yitzchak, and then Yaakov. But Hashem says, first I'm mentioning Yaakov. Why? Because Yaakov, he is the goal. He's the end product. The first two had problems. Avraham had Yishmael. Yitzchak had Esau. And Yaakov was Mitosa Shlema. He had no problems with his children. They're all within the family. Nobody went off. So that's where the bris is with Yaakov. That's the final one. And that's what Shavuot is. That's what Shavuot is. Shavuot is the Tiferes. Shavuot is the Torah. That's the final one. So this is the climax of the year. Very, very important to remember. Very important. Remember, this is the climax of the year. Everything depends on the way, hakol halech achar hachasima. The way you see something, the way you finish it off, that's what you're left with. Yes.
Rabbi, in the world to come, are we supposed to return to din?
Yes.
That's what we understand, that now we paskin like Beis Hillel, who are more, let's say, flexible. They find, ways to be makel. But when we come to Mashiach's time, afterwards, it'll go back to Beis Shammai. Beis Shammai was very, very strict, and we'll go meet it did. So you might ask the question, why are we going to be more strict? We should be, on the contrary, more loving and lighter. The answer is because everybody will want perfection at that time. Nobody will be satisfied with anything less than perfection. When Mashiach comes, everybody will see what perfection is, and they'll want to live according to that. They will not in any way want to be makel or look for all kinds of leniencies. No, we want perfection. And therefore the world will operate with midas hadin, because that will be the desire of everyone. Doing less than that is imperfection. We want to have perfection. We have perfection. In our world today, there are people who are perfectionists. And you have to be very, very careful. Very careful when you're dealing with these people. You can never criticize them because they think they're perfect. They never make mistakes. You can't say a word. You have to be very careful when you're dealing with a perfectionist, especially if it's a woman. Especially if it's a woman. Because not only are they perfectionists, they're also sensitive. So if you say something in the wrong way, even if you have the wrong look on your face, you're already getting into trouble. So you have to be very, very careful when you're dealing with perfectionists, especially a woman, even with a man, and know how to deal with it. Be very, very careful what you say, what you do, not to insult. That's the world. That's the world. You have to deal with everybody in the world. So, but we can't live that way. Hashem knows that this world cannot operate on perfectionism at the present time. But in Lasted Love, what you said, that's what it's going to be, because nobody will want anything less than that. No one will be satisfied with anything less than that. So Shavuos is a time of din. Now, what is the din on Shavuos? What are we paskening on Shavuos? What is the Shema?
Shavuos is the time of din.
Din, of course. First of all, the Mishnah says, "Vatseres nidon ela peros, peros eila." But it's more than that. It's more than that. You like to learn Torah. You like to learn Torah. Everyone likes to learn Torah. It's interesting. You also like to introduce new ideas, come up with interesting things that you didn't even think of before, or learn new things you didn't know before. You know when that's decided? Svarim HaKadosh says it's decided on Shavuos. How much time will you put in preparing yourself for Matan Torah, for that union with Hashem? When you receive the Meshul Matan of Torah, the amount of time that you put in on Shavuos will be a great influence on the amount of Chidushei Torah that you will experience in the coming year. So it's very, very important. Everyone likes new ideas. Everyone wants interesting things to happen. Then intellectually, in Torah, a lot depends on how you run the Shavuos, how you live the Shavuos. So it's very, very important. We'll talk about it as we go on. The Arizal says, a person who stays up all night long Shavuos. The night is very short, by the way. It's one of the shortest nights of the year. After you finish coming home from davening, and if you daven like here in Chabad, they don't make early yontif. No one makes an early yontif on Shavuos. Maybe early Shabbos, but no one makes an early yontif on Shavuos.
You can.
Huh?
Can.
You have to wait till it's finished over. Correct. So no one makes an early yontif. So by the time you get home, it's almost 9 o'clock already. 8:30, 9 o'clock. Until you finish eating, it could be 10, 11 already. And then, 3-4 hours later, you have to prepare for davening if you get daven the earliest minyan. Knowing that A person, a serious person, will try to daven with the next minion on Shavuot. But it's brought down in the Svarim, which we'll learn about it, see in the Shlar, brought down, before you go to daven on Shavuot, before you're going to accept the Torah, it's the proper thing to do, to go to the mikveh. When are you supposed to go to the mikveh? You're supposed to go to the mikveh before Alos HaShachar. Alos HaShachar means before what we call dawn, or the morning star, is approximately 4:10, something like that. So about 3:45, you have to already go to the mikveh. So you're finished. The whole night is 3-4 hours. That's it. Since after you finish it, 3-4 hours. You don't have much time. So it's a very, very short night. And if you take a nap, Erev Shavuos, to give yourself the koch to be able to stay up, and you drink a coffee after you finish eating the meal, so you'll be able to have to stay up. You say you put yourself into it, you ask Hashem to give you the satisfaction to be able to do it, you'll see Hashem wants you to do it, and He'll help you. He'll help you to stay up. But it's very important not to do it alone at home. That is a big mistake. If you do it alone at home, your chances of falling asleep are much, much greater. Plus the fact it's brought down, if you go to shul where you have a minion coming to you at home, it's something else. But you should be in a place where there's a minion. When you have a minion, the Shekhinah is there, and you'll have the koach with everybody's Torah learning together to be able to stay up and prepare yourself for Matan Torah. Now, it's very interesting. I looked in the Shulchan Aruch Harav. It means the Baal Tanya. Besides writing Tanya, he wrote a Shulchan Aruch for Chabad. Like the Chayyim wrote, the Chochmah said, they wrote the Shulchan Aruch. He wrote Shulchan Aruch. I looked at what he says about Shavuos. What are you supposed to be doing the night of Shavuos? He has one small paragraph on it, the whole thing. I was so surprised. He says, learn Torah Shebaal Peh. The meaning is to learn Torah Shebaal Peh. What does Torah Shebaal Peh means? Not the written word, not Tanakh. Not Tanakh. Learn Gemara, learn Chassidus, learn whatever you want. Learn the Mamorim of the Rebbe. Learn Torah Shebaal Peh. Learn Gemara, learn Kabbalah, learn Zohar. Learn Torah Shebaal Peh. It's very, very interesting. There's nobody argues with the Arizal. No one argues with the Arizal. There are some people who try to explain the Arizal, but to argue and say the Arizal is wrong, nobody has the chutzpah to say such a thing. Nobody has the chutzpah. Now, there are some people who won't recognize the shita of the Arizal. It's for you, it's not for me. We don't agree to it. As I told you, the story, I think I told it to you, the Note of Yehuda was against saying before a mitzvah, L'shem yichud kudshem brichus shchintei. I told it to you. He was against it. He was a Litvak who Note of Yehuda, Rabbi Cheskel Lando, a big Talmud Chacham, great Paisik, big Tzaddik. He was against it. But not that he said it's wrong. It's not for us. Not for us. The Hasidim want to do it, let them do it. The Svardim want to do it, the Kabbalah want to do it. It's not for us. The literature world doesn't understand from it, doesn't know from it. Don't have to say it. But not that it's wrong. He said, we're not in Abadranka, we don't understand it. So they don't hold it. So here we have an entire olam of literature people who learn Torah. Literature, or the literature derech. They grew up in yeshivas, literature yeshivas. They learn when it comes to Shavuos night, what they do. They learn Gemara. They sit down in the basement, they learn Gemara. But Safrusa, they have a shiurim, Gemara. It's fine, very good. But what about what the Arizal told us to do? He told us exactly what to learn. I'm telling you, says the Arizal, I know exactly how you have to prepare for Matan Torah. We are considered like the Kala. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is like the Chassid. We're going to have a marriage. And after the marriage, there's going to be the Cheder Yichud. That's what happens in a marriage, right? The Chassid and Kala under the chuppah is a big party. Everyone sits and eats, a big simcha. After everybody goes home, the Chassid and Kala are alone. Cheder Yichud. That's it, the Cheder Yichud. So how does that work out on Shavuos? It's very simple. Before the Chasana, what happened before the Chasana? The Kala prepares herself to make herself look nice, to look attractive, and she should be charming in the chassan's eyes. So the Kala prepares herself. She puts on all kinds of kishutim, adornments. What are the kishutim that we do now for Pesach, for Shavuot? What do we do? So the Rebbe says there are chaf dalid kishutei Kala, 24 kinds of adornments for the Kala. What does that mean, 24? Why did he get that number 24? What does it mean? It's very simple. The way we prepare for Matan Torah is by learning Torah, by showing our interest in Torah. So every Shevet, there are 12 Shvatim. Every tribe of Klal Yisrael has its own path. The way they daven, the way they learn, their own path. In each path, there is Nigla and there's Nista. And there are 12 tribes. So each tribe has 12 of Nigla and also 12 of Nista. That's the 24 Kishut Kala. So that's why he said there were 24 Kishut Kala. So how do you go about doing that now when it comes to Shavuot? How do you go about doing that? Very simple, says the Arizal. Simple, but not so easy to do it. It's not complicated. He says you have to start off by learning Tanakh. Tanakh, Torah Shebiksav. You have to go through all of Tanakh. Now, you don't have to read the Chumash from Bereshit until the end of the Gemara. The Rizal says you take the 3 psukim in the beginning of each parasha and 3 at the end of each parasha. Just 3 psukim. Bereshit, Noach, NACHLAOT, all the way throughout. Take the first 3 psukim of each parsha and the last 3 psukim. Then you go through the same thing in the Nevi'im. And then you do through the Ksuvim. So what people did was they made a special sefer called Tikkun Leil Shavuos. The Svardim, the Hasidim, they all do it. They don't learn Gemara at the beginning of the night. After you finish doing that, then you learn Torah Sheba'al Peh. Then you have the Chaf Dalit Kishutei Kala, the Nigla, and the Nistar. You start off with the Torah Shebiksav, with the written Torah. You finish that, and it's only 3 psukim at the beginning of each thing, and the end of 3 psukim. That's all. And then you go through that. Then you learn Gemara, Hasidus, philosophy, all Torah Sheba'al Peh. That's the way you prepare yourself for the Chassid. We are the Kala, and that's how we have to prepare ourselves for the Chasna on the Shavuos. So it's very, very simple, except it's not so easy to do. Even just doing that, the 3 psukim, beginning to the end, takes time. There are some people, some great Rabbanim, who realized if they go home after davening and sit down and have a 2-hour meeting, and you fill yourself up and you have no koyach afterwards to sit and learn. You're groggy, your mind is not clear. It's very, very difficult. So you know what they did? They didn't go home after davening. They stayed in shul and they started the psukim. And then in the middle, after they found a certain point, 11, 12 o'clock at night, they went home to eat something, finish it up quickly, and then they continued learning. Then they were able to do it. But if you go home to eat right away after the davening, it's very, very difficult. Not that you can't do it, it's possible. But if you're going to sit down and have a festive 2-hour meal, as you normally do, you're first of all using up valuable time because there's a lot of material to cover. So it's very difficult to do it that way. You have to really prepare yourself and the people who are around you, who are eating with you in the family, for what's the saying is going to be Shavuos night. It's not going to be like a regular Yom Tov or a Shabbos. We're going to sit and just enjoy yourself and sing Zmiros and Divrei Torah. No, you have too much to do. You're too much to do. There's a lot of ground to cover. So that's it. Tikkun Leil Shavuos. Now, and here I saw the schedule here. Here they're going to have shiurim all night long. Every hour another shiur. Fine. The Torah Sheba'al Peh. Torah Sheba'al Peh. Why they're not following the Arizal Shita, I don't know. But I saw, as I said, the Shulchan Aruch Harav, Balatanya, does not bring the Arizal either. He says, learning Torah Sheba'al Peh. That's what he's supposed to do. So they go with the Shita of the Balatanya, Shulchan Aruch Harav. I'm not the one to criticize. I'm just saying the Arizal was not one to just push aside and say, no, if he gives you direct instructions to the last detail of what you should learn, and I'm telling you my truth. I'm saying al-Chet to myself. All the years I was brought up in Litvish yeshivas, that's what I did, like everybody else did. I sat down with a chavrusa, I learned Gemara. But now I'm getting to my senses. What are you talking about? How can you push him? He tells you exactly what to learn. Give you the direct instructions. This pasuk and this pasuk and this. So how can you not follow what the Arizal says? This year, believe that there, I'm going to do that. That's what the Arizal says. I hope. I'd manage you. Now, here's a very interesting thing. Very interesting thing. It says in the Shara Kavalos, Chaim Vital, who wrote the Arizal's writing, it says a person who is successful and he doesn't waste time talking narishkeit, foolish things on Shavuos. He learns all night. It's muftach lo sheyashlim shnaso. You have a guarantee that you live out the year. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean till next Shavuos? Could be till next Shavuos. Maybe it means till Rosh Hashanah. I don't know. Yashlim shnaso. Those are the words. He will complete the year. So you have a guarantee, a life insurance policy. If you stay up the whole night, Shavuos, and learn Torah and don't waste time, the Arizal guarantees you'll live out the year.
At least till Rosh Hashanah.
At least till Rosh Hashanah. It could be till next Shavuos. So I would say it probably means till next Shavuos too. But all right.
Well, between the Maariv, let's say, and between the lectures, you can do the three Pacific, you can do that alone.
Yes, but what you should do is get a hold. There's a volume. A lot of shuls have it. It looks like a machzor. It says Tikkun Shul. You have it all set up for you. You have to go looking around for each parsha. It's all set up for you. That's the best thing. Get a hold of a volume called Tikkun Shavuos, and you can do it. Start right after Ma'ariv. You're absolutely right. Right after Ma'ariv. I believe that. I'm going to try to do that myself. Not the.
The term has been. The term has been co-opted.
Who?
The term.
Yeah.
It's been co-opted to mean all night stuff.
Excuse me, I didn't say.
The term has been co-opted.
Oh, the term co-opted.
To mean all night study. We'll see that term, and then I'll have a series of questions.
Well, that's Torah Shabbat Peh. That is Torah Shabbat Peh. That's to listen to a shir. That's fine. It's okay. I'm sorry, but it's difficult. When you're listening to a shir, it's hard not to doze off in the middle of the night. It's late. If you drink a coffee or two coffees or something, make sure you stay up. It's hard. Well, the person who's talking, he won't fall asleep. But the people who are listening, it's more difficult. More difficult. All right. Look, Hashem knows what's in every person's heart. He sees you put really yourself into it. You try, he'll help you to stay up. He'll help you to do it. But I strongly advise taking a nap erev Shavuos in the afternoon, and to drink a strong coffee after the meal. So it will give you a further burst, of koach.
Of all the wonderful things you've taught me, the one you don't have to teach me is to take a nap.
For the coffee.
Okay. Let's take a look now at the pages that I gave you, please. Aleph says, Chayiv Adam Letayar Atzmo Beregel V'leilech Litvo. Then you want to come into Shavuos. I was talking to somebody in shul this morning, and here's a person who I really respect. He's a person who doesn't even sit down. He davens the entire davening from the beginning to the end standing up. He took it on himself to stand up for Psukei de Zimra, for Birchas Kriyash. He stands up for the entire davening. A wonderful person, a real tzaddik. I was so surprised. He walked into shul with his talis bag on his shoulder. He takes it off and puts his talis on and tefillin in the shul. I said, let me ask you a question. We have a good relationship, so I was able to say it. Afterwards, he said he thanked me for saying it in such a fine way. I said to him, if you were invited by the king, you have a special audience with the king. So he said, wow, I'm going to get my best suit, and I'm going to take my suit with the hanger and come into the king's parlor, and I'll take off my other clothes and I'll put on my suit and fun. That's what I'm doing, because I want to speak to the king dressed properly. Fine, but you don't get dressed in front of the king. You walk into the king already dressed. Right? That's the way. So he said to me, you're absolutely right. And he didn't argue with me. He said, a person like you who stands up for the entire davening, he won't sit down. You saw Chabad the davening, Chabad Kadosh Baruch Hu, he won't sit down. He said, I listened to him davening. He says every word clearly, no mumbling, no rushing. Every word he says clearly. I'm so surprised. He walks into shul and he gets dressed in shul. He said, you're right. And let's see what's tomorrow. Maybe he'll change. I hope. I don't know.
Tomorrow he comes to a bathing suit.
But he appreciated. He said, you said it to me very, very skillfully. It didn't, yeah.
Now, on a middle ground,
Yeah.
is this the shul or is that the shul?
It's the same. It's the same.
It's not a sheep.
Yeah, but it's the same. You have the Aron Kodesh here. It's the same room. The same for. It's, yeah, look, outside you have two tables downstairs. Two tables. You could put your towel and fill it on downstairs and walk into the shul. The two tables there. No reason why you can't do it. The Zohar brings down, actually, the Zohar says, and the Shulchan Aruch brings it unusually. Shulchan doesn't usually bring the Zohar. The Zohar says you should really put it on at home and walk to shul with your tefillin already on. That's the way it's the Rechavia. But at least to do it outside the shul and walk in dressed already into the shul.
I did that today, but only because the door was locked.
All right, so once you start it, so keep it up. Keep it up.
So why a youngster who's called at the Sefer Torah, he's wearing the talis just before going to the Sefer Torah.
What do you mean a youngster? What do you mean a youngster?
Yeah, 15 years ago, 18 years ago.
Yeah.
And he is,
So he doesn't. He's only a married person who wears the talis.
excuse me?
In our the Ashkenazim, a Bachar doesn't wear a talis.
They wear?
No,
Oh, okay. So
only by the Sephardim.
but when you go to when you're cooking the Sefer Torah,
Yeah, of course, covenant Torah. Covenant Torah.
what do you do?
You put the talis on first. You don't go up to the Torah and put the talis on when you're standing in front of the Torah.
You do it inside the shul.
Yeah, but that's okay. But you're not expected to wear a talis beforehand because you're a Bachar, something else. Yeah. All right. So here he says, why do we bring this all up? Because he says very simply, before the regel comes, chayav adam metaher atzma b'regel. You have to purify yourself before the regel. V'leilech litvo, and go to the mikvah. Mikol shekain b'regel zeh, especially this one. Not only Pesach and Shavuot, especially this one. Why? Because this is what they did at Har Sinai. Shebo Tovlo es Atzmo Kol Yisrael Anoshim V'Noshim. Hear that? Men and women by Har Sinai were titled B'tzivo Hashem Kamosha Kosuv Lech El Ha'am V'Kidashtem Hayom U'Machar. That could, I don't know where they had a body of water around Har Sinai, but he says that's what they did. I don't know where they got the water from to be titled entire couple of million people to be titled in a body of water. Where they have it? I don't know the answer. But he said they were titled before they had Kabbalah Torah. B'Zohar Mashma Litvol Kodem Los Hashachar. That's what I told you before. When should you be titled? Before dawn. Now dawn is approximately 4:09. I looked at the calendar before 9, so about 3:45 would be the time. 3:30, 4:45. Le'achar shalom d'kol halayla. V'chein, this is what he says. V'chein hu haminhag be'eretz Yisrael. Where was the Shloh writing this? The Shloh was in Europe. He was not in Eretz Yisrael. I mean, he maybe ended up here later on. But he wrote this, he was in Europe. And he's saying the minhag in Eretz Yisrael is that he heard about there is to be toivel before Alos HaShachar. U'minkom makom nira li not only to go to the mikvah in the morning the 3:45 in the morning, but even before the Yom Tov starts, Erev Regel, and Friday in the afternoon, also to go into the Regel, also pure. Kadesh Yetar B'Achnosas HaRegel. Okay, now I know some people cannot go, for whatever reason, they cannot go to the mikveh. Can't. I know a person who has to go with a walker. He doesn't have that, freeness to be able to go to a mikveh. It's hard for him to walk. What else can you do besides going to the mikveh? Very simple. There is a Indian, what was called Tisha Kav. If you stand underneath the shower, running water, 5 minutes.
How is it called?
Tisha Kav. Tisha Kav. That's a mouth. It's a few quarts of water. You stand under the shower with the flow of water coming constantly for 5 minutes. That is b'diavad kosher also for a mikveh. B'diavad. So a person can go to the mikveh, stand under the shower, let the water run over you 5 minutes straight, without no hafsaka in between. A 5 minute flow of water underneath the shower, that is considered b'diavad also kosher for a mikveh.
B'diavad, does it apply also to women once a month?
No, it's not good for women. Not good for women. For a man, it's good. For women, women has to go to the mikveh. Women has to go to the mikveh.
It can be any temperature.
Excuse me?
Any temperature.
Any temperature, doesn't matter. Warm or doesn't matter.
For you, ice cold.
Okay.
Can I get polemical a minute back to Yaakov?
Excuse me?
Polemical. It's to be argumentative like Yaakov. But
Yeah.
what about those who switch to rabbinic times to feel? Where do they do that? Or should they?
No, that's all right. That's okay. Once you came into shul with your Rashi's tefillin, you could switch it Rabbi Notam's tefillin. You don't have to go outside again. No. Okay. Okay, so we can skip base because we already spoke about it. But look what he says at the end of base. Let's go. We read it quickly in base. Somebody who really wants to attach himself to Kedusha, he has to make efforts to be awake all night. V'yasok b'Torah kol halayla. The kol halayla, it's 4 or 5 hours. V'seder halima shel zeh halayla kvar nispasim v'not l'rabim ha'ideh ha'kontrasim shenisbashtu, what we call tikkun neil shavuos. That's where you'll find what to say. Now look, he says, Hamina Chazen Nispashet B'Kol Eretz Yisrael. You hear that? This is the minute that he heard about it in Europe. In all of Eretz Yisrael, that's what the religious Jews do. Or B'Kol HaMalchus. I don't know what Malchus means. I don't know which Malchus he's talking about. But he says, Ein Noki. Ein Noki. There's nobody who's free from this. Kulam Kiechad. Migedolim V'Yad Ketanim. You hear that? Even under Bar Mitzvah. Gedolim Ketanim. If it's long, not a child, mama's a baby, but a buffer is at 12, 13, he's already close to Bar Mitzvah. V'chein kibu v'kibu aleim v'al zareim. It's a minig in Klal Yisrael. V'acharei tidvar Hashem yishtadlu shigiyah minyan biyachad. Very important to try to do this with 10 people together. You don't all have to be learning the same thing, but you should all be in a room where you're together, everyone's learning something, preparing for Matan Torah. Shekol Be Asara Shechina Sharia. When you have 10 people, the Shechina is there. I would be extremely, extremely happy if we had this course. And when we had the shurim on King George, I think we had more people over there than we have over here. I think so, a few more. If you have other people who you know.
Sometimes we had minions.
Huh?
Sometimes we had minions.
Yeah. If you know other people you could speak to, try to get them to come to Rabbi what's his Rav Shmuel's shir, also the first one. And to this year also, we should have a minyan. It's very important to have a minyan. The Shekhinah is there. Somebody asked me a question today. What happens if you have 10 people and somebody leaves?
We can still say that much.
Well,
No?
If you have after you finish Shmona Esrei, after you finish davening in the morning, so you say Aleinu Shaber, and you have Kaddish Yosa. So you Kaddish. Kaddish. Then you go and you have Yom and Ein Kilokenu. Ein Kilokenu is a Kaddish D'Rabbanan. And meanwhile, some people were in a rush and they left. Can you say Kaddish if people left?
We don't have the same or sifat.
Okay, doesn't matter.
But I heard that during Aleinu, at the end, let's say, someone is going out, there are still 9, I heard you can still speak Kaddish.
It's important to have 10. We have over here 6. 4 might be not so difficult to get 4 people on Shabbos. You have people who can speak to them, try to get them to come. So we have 10 people living together. Okay. Now, in Gimel, Siv Gimel, unfortunately we don't have the time. But he says something here. Look at what it says in Siv Gimel. To show you the majesty, the greatness of this night, how important it is that you should stay up a whole night learning. The Shlah, he lived around the time that this happened. Shahoya mitzchaber bebeis shorabenu beis Yosef v'hofia alav ruach hakodesh. He said on the night of Shavuot, the Alkabetz, who was the author of the Chadodi, he was in the Beis Yosef's house. They had a group of people learning together, and it came down in a Shemayim, a voice, and it started to speak to him on the night of Shavuot. And he describes in detail the whole story. He wrote this letter. We can't go over it now because our time is limited. But I want to just tell you to turn to the next page. Go to the next page, page 361. 361. At the end, on the left side there, it says, Ad kan Lashon Haksav. Up until here was the writer, the Alkabetz, Shlomo Halevi Alkabetz, finished writing the letter. He described in detail what happened there. They heard this talk, and he says, Ashrei ayin ra'aso kolayla. Whoever was present when this happened, he says, he's so fortunate, it's impossible to explain and to imagine what happened that night when Shavuos came. Al kain kol echad yikadesh v'yitar atzmo b'toisvos kedusha v'tara. Now look what he says here. Chanof, this is for you. Look at the next line. V'tov sheyizaharu shelo yidabru ba'oisa halayla b'shum lashon chol.
I thought the same thing.
He says, on the night of Shavuos, make every effort not to speak any other language except Lashon HaKodesh. You're not talking about the topics that you think about, but try on that night to be totally involved in Kedusha. Whatever you have to say, whatever you want to ask, say it in your broken Hebrew, but say it in Hebrew. Don't use English, don't use Yiddish, don't use German, French, no other language on the Leil Shavuos, at least until after Davening. After Kriyas Torah, at least. Actually, it's more than after Davening. You know, we just said before that Matan Torah, that is like the chuppah. Hashem is giving you, the Aseres HaDibros is giving you the crown. When does the chassan and the kala go into the yichud room and they're together? After everybody leaves, everyone finished the meal, they go home, the chassan and kala together, and they have their yichud, they have their union. When does that take place for us? You know when that takes place for us? When you're saying Shema Yisrael in the Kedusha of Musaf. The Chazaras Hashatz of Musaf. Minich is to say, Keser, Itin Lucha, Minich Svart, Minich Ashkenaz, Maktishach. But when you're saying Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, When you say that echad, that is the union of the chassid makala of Hashem with Am Yisrael. That's the climax of the night. That's it. That's finished. That's the end.
The night.
Of the day, the morning. That's the morning already. I mean, the morning. It's the morning already. That's what we're trying to build up. Wait for that precious moment when the chassid and the kala are together, when the Kadosh Baruch Hu unites with Am Yisrael. It's kudsha barichu u'shkitei. When you're saying the word echad, I'll tell you something. In the svarim of the Mekubalim, listen to this. It's very important. If you can do it, it's a great thing. It's a great thing. It's all year long, every single day. When you say Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, the Svarim HaKadoshim say, when you say Hashem Echad, what does Echad mean? Echad means Eino Bilvado. There's nothing else. Nothing else. That means you are also from that nothing else. You become batel, you become absorbed into Hashem. You will become part of Hashem. You don't have an individual existence. You are part of Hashem. You melt into Hashem and you cease to exist.
Bitul Atzmo.
Bitul Atzmo. The Svarim HaKadoshim say, at that moment, a person should think in his mind, I'm mimekabel on myself, arba misos beit. Skila, sreifa, herev, v'chenig. Meaning to say, I'm willing to die for Hashem. I don't exist. I don't exist.
Yeah.
But you have to seriously think it. If I had to give my life for Hashem, I would give it. Then I tell you a little story. It's an amazing story. Mamash an amazing story. Or a person who you would never believe would do such a thing, and listen to the story. I heard this from Rav Rosenblum just this Friday. It's supposed to be a true story. I wasn't there. He wasn't there either. But the story was following. It was a man who just left everything. In Europe, before World War II broke out, before the Nazis became powerful, he left everything. Didn't want to have any connection to Judaism at all. No Torah, no nothing. He married a goy. And he lived with her a number of years. He had a few children with her too. And he lived like a goy. The Nazis came. Somebody snitched on him. They said, he's really a Jew. They were looking for Jews. So Nazis came into his house. Are you Jewish? I'm a guy. Here's my wife, here's my children. I live like everybody else, I'm a guy. They didn't believe him. They grabbed him, took him to a shul. They took the Sefer Torah out of their own Kodesh, unraveled the Sefer Torah on the ground, and they said to him, walk on it. He couldn't do it. They said, we're going to kill you. He opened up his shirt, shoot. I cannot walk on the Sefer Torah. You hear that, everybody? That's what it means, Mesiras Nefesh. And they killed him. He went to Olam Haba. He married a Goya. He had children who were Goyim. No, to walk on a Sefer Torah, something was in him, in his heart. He couldn't do it. That's what you have to be like. You're willing to give your life for Hashem. If it comes down to that, that's what you have to think when you're saying Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad. It's only you. I'm nothing. I'm nothing. If you say that, your tefillos go up to Shamayim, and you bring down such a shefa of bracha and tov to the world by doing that. That's the yichud. That's the union of Klal Yisrael and Kadosh Baruch Hu. That takes place when you're saying Shem Echad in Musaf of Shavuot by Davening. That's the climax of the day. Means I'm willing to take all the misas of Bezdin. If I have to die for Hashem, I'll do it.
The very heavy ones.
Yes, but that's what it comes down to. Like this person. Like this person. He's a Meshumid, Eisrof. He married a guy, he didn't want to know anything about you. But something in his heart, he knew he was Jewish. He knew very well he was Jewish. He could not walk on the Sefer Torah. Couldn't do it. All right, Rabbi Stein, we have a few minutes left. Let's go on, a few more, a little bit more. All right, we're up to the page 361. So the last thing we said was, try the night of Shavuot to change your manner of speaking. Try your best only to speak Lashon HaKodesh. Okay. Page 361, paragraph Dalet. You should be extremely, extremely happy on this day, more than the other Chakim. Interesting, huh? More than the other Chakim. Even though we say on Sukkot Matzit Chaseinu, but he says over here, Biyoser, this one more. Ki hu yom shezachinu bo lekeser Torah. Mikol makom gilu bira'ada. Your simcha has to have an inner trembling. It's not just to enjoy a good meal with some kugel or whatever it is, or some good cakes. No. The simcha over here is a different kind of a simcha. HaSimcha shesameach tiyeh simcha ruchanit. This is not the physical enjoyment that we're thinking about when we say simcha, the bubbly kind of simcha. That's not what he's talking about. It's an inner simcha. It's an inner feeling of satisfaction. The hodos mahalel Hashem yisbarach shenasan lonu haTorah. You know how grateful you have to be that we have the Torah. Look at what's going on all over the world. The entire world is in tremendous, tremendous confusion. That's the best word. Where people think many think that they're doing the right thing. This has this shita, this has that shita, and they all think they're right, but they're so confused. They're so mixed up. They don't know what they're thinking. Many people just join groups, and they have no idea what they're joining. Nothing, just to join something, to be part of something. They're completely off the track. We have such a beautiful formula, Hashem's word. We have the Torah. We have to be so thankful that we have this. It's worth everything in the world we have. The Gemara says in the Dorim, there were 7 things that were created before the world was created. And you know what the first one was? Torah. The first thing Hashem created before the world was created was Torah. You cannot have a world which is so complex without a bright light which shines through it, which gives you a direction. That has to be first. Otherwise, you get mixed up in all the complexities of the world, and you don't know what to do, right to left, up, you don't know where you're going, what you're doing. Everything influences you, and you're totally flungent. All about God, the whole world's about God. You don't know what's right, what's wrong. You have to have first the basis. You have to have the Torah first. So Hashem, before He created the world, He created Torah. It doesn't mean the Torah that we know, Bereshis, until it means the concepts of the Torah. It doesn't mean the actual words themselves. It means the concepts of Torah, the connection from Hashem to us. That is what the Torah is. It's the vehicle of connection. Through the Torah, we connect with our Creator. That had to be created first. So we always have a line, a lifeline that we can grab onto. That's what the Torah is. It's the lifeline which you can grab onto. If you're drowning, you're sinking, grab onto that lifeline and you'll be saved. So he says, therefore, we have to be extremely, extremely grateful. Hold us, Mahal Hashem Yismar, Shenasa Lanu Torah. Umisare Ma'od Belibo, Vizkadesh, Ulesakin Maisav, Vilios Mukhtar B'Kesra Torah. We have to be so happy that we could be crowned with the crown of Torah. L'kayim v'hagisimo yom v'laylo, should be with us all the time. Kayom hakadosh hazeh hu yom dino. Remember, we're being judged on this day, and the quality and quantity of our Torah for the entire year is dependent on how we go through this trial. So you have to put everything you can into Shavuos. Prepare our minds. You have to prepare yourself mentally beforehand. That means starting now. Prepare yourself, get yourself, riled up and put yourself into the mindset of how you're going to spend the Shavuos. Think of all the preparations you have to make, what you have to do, so that Shavuos will come out to be the most successful day of the year for you, for me, for everybody. That's the way to do it. If you put all that effort in and you're really sincere and honest, we'll see you have tremendous self-esteem. You'll have a different year altogether. All right, we'll stop over here for today. Till next Sunday, Mr. Shem.